Hey friends, welcome back to Reimagining Our Faith. In our recent devotions, we've been learning from some of the lesser known disciples as we focused on Nathanael and Thaddaeus. Today I want to talk about another disciple we know very little about, and his name is James. But this is not James, the brother of John, who is much more familiar to us. We know a lot about that James. The James that I want to talk about today is James, son of Alphaeus. This disciple, James, son of Alphaeus, well, he's one of the quietest figures in the entire New Testament. He never asks a bold question like Peter. He never writes a letter like John. He never preaches a famous sermon like Matthew. In fact, outside of being listed among the 12, we don't hear a single recorded word from James, son of Alphaeus. And yet, like we said with Nathanael and Thaddaeus, Jesus chose him. This James may have been young or even small in stature, possibly physically limited. Some traditions call him James the Less, not as an insult, but as a description. Perhaps he was shorter or younger or simply less noticeable than the other disciples. But what's striking is this: James, son of Alphaeus, never used any limitation as an excuse to avoid following Jesus. He walked the same dusty roads as the other disciples, he faced the same dangers, and ultimately gave his life for the same gospel. This James wasn't famous, he wasn't prominent, he wasn't a big personality in the group, but he was faithful. And Jesus saw him. In a world obsessed with platform and visibility and recognition, James stands as a quiet reminder that God's measure of greatness is faithfulness, not fame. You don't have to be the loudest voice, the most gifted speaker, or the most impressive person in the room. You don't need a spotlight to be significant in the kingdom of God. James, son of Alphaeus, shows us that the unnoticed disciple is still known by Jesus. The quiet servant is still called. The one who feels less is never less in the eyes of God. Can you relate to this disciple? Where do you feel less? Less gifted, less visible, less capable? How might God be calling you to faithfulness rather than recognition? What small, quiet act of obedience can you offer today? Whenever you feel less today, remember James, son of Alphaeus. For no matter how we feel, God can still use us even as God works within us to help us reimagine our faith.